Last Epoch 1.0 is there, and this Necromancer is gonna give you the best level experience with the Acolyte. Take your volatile explosive zombie, turn it into a giant, because yes, this got buffed in the latest patch. It now costs way less mana to do, and you can summon tons of them, and they'll walk into your opponents and explode. In order to make this even more efficient, just teleport on them with Transplant or your Skeletal Mage's teleport, and then go pow, 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 and just 2-button combo explode everything in your way. Super fast, super efficient, and you think it's lacking in boss damage? Nah, you're essentially just gonna get them spammed down with your zombies running into them and bomb, bomb, bomb. Especially since zombie has one very important node. That would be Ravenous. The explosion hit deals more damage, multiplicative with other modifiers, against bosses and rare enemies. Now, you won't be able to start with Volatile Zombies. No, we're gonna begin with Rip Blood, Wandering Spirits, and also Hungering Souls. These 3 skills are gonna very fast get us to level 15. Your Rip Blood specialization is going to look following. First, we want to have Rip Blood with increased cast speed. 1 point into increased cast speed, 2 points into Blood Orbs grant additional health and they return faster. And then Blood Orbs now also grant you mana when you directly cast Rip Blood. This is your resource replenishment as you blast empty your mana for many zombies to overwhelm your opponent. Now, we want to be able to cast as fast as possible. We want to have the Blood Orbs come back as fast as possible, and then also Blood Orbs restore more health based on your intelligence stat. With your final 6 points, I would put 3 into Thirst, so your Rip Blood doesn't cost anything anymore and is casting even faster. And you can also have your minions prioritize whoever you Rip Blood, but it's also even more cast speed. More cast speed, more mana. Simple. Lastly, Gushing Wounds to bleed someone into poison. Your second skill, after investing some passive points that you're going to specialize in, is Hungering Souls. And here we're just dealing more necrotic damage, and we can also summon some more projectiles. And these points in should already be enough to get you to the level that you're able to summon Volatile Zombies. And as soon as you hit level 16, we're going to straight up re-specialize into summon Volatile Zombies and kick Hungering Souls out. Zombie has 2 things we really want. That is Forceful Commander to make it as cheap as possible, but also the Giant Zombie to make it as boomy as possible. And here's the big change. It used to cost plus 300% mana, going up to 40 plus. That is only plus 120%, and that's amazing. And we're going to put straight up 2 points into the Forceful Commander, 1 point in the Grave Attunement, and then 1 point into the Giant Zombie. And then straight up the next 2 points into Forceful Commander as well. Just get this up to 5 as fast as possible so you can spam as many zombies in a row. Next 2 points would also be in Path of Destruction down here for the higher explosion. And then you want your zombies to heal you. You're healed for a portion of the zombies' maximum health when they explode. The amount heal is affected by your increased healing effectiveness. And lastly, you can turn that heal down here into Ward. So you're getting a bonus shield instead of healing when they explode. That is plenty fantastic. In order to get bosses super boomed, you want 1 point into Daunting Blast and then the 2 points into Ravenous, because that Ravenous gives you a plus 60% that multiplies to all your other bonus damages to just take bosses down. Then we can put 2 more points into Grave Attunement for a huge damage boost, minus movement, and that minus movement you can actually countermand with Fervor to just make your zombies move faster again and do even more damage, and that more damage multiplies with all the other damage multipliers. Those 2 skills are your must-haves. That is the main combo. Now, in order to teleport yourself over the board, I use Transplant, but I don't actually specialize into that. Hasn't been necessary. Later, when mana allows it, it's very good to go into the Skeletal Mages. Before we can do that, we gotta bump our passives though. For that, we want as much intelligence as possible in the beginning. Then we're increasing our cast speed and the minions' attack and cast speed, vice versa. Very good. Lastly, you can increase your minions' HP tremendously here by 72%, more life on the zombies, more heal/ward for you when they explode. In the Necromancer passive, the first 5 points go into increased minion damage, attack speed, and cast speed, bringing us the Skeletal Mages. And I do like to use the Skeletal Mages instead of Transplant in the long run as our teleport. Since our Skeletal Mages can get bonus projectiles, then they get more attack and cast speed, can go full frenzy mode. We'll have them get more damage based on our max mana. And then lastly, we turn our mage summoning skill into a teleport. Now, that teleport will cost mana. It is okay though, since the mana cost of the zombie is now lower than ever before. And with the Rip Blood plus this, we're still able to always stay topped up easy and just traverse over the map. If you don't like this, keep using Transplant. I just do enjoy having the mages up. And since we're focusing on fire damage with the Volatile Zombies, I also tend to turn the mages into fire mages. Now we're going to give our mages more base critical strike, 1+ in mage, then critical strike multiplier, and they heal on crit. Plus we're going to turn them into pyromancers, and then we're going to remove everything else but pyromancers from the pool. Now we can solely focus also here on fire and physical damage. And the last 5 points can be put into skeletal mages deal additional spell damage. Superb. They're blasters now. Now we're going to beef our passives in the Necromancer tree up until we get Dread Shade, and that's our next escalating level of damage. In the meantime, we've been using the Summon Bone Golem, and here we turn the Bone Golem into a Fire Golem, because that's what we're doing, fire. We have him turn into a Pyro Golem, give him even more melee fire damage, make him completely zoom out of the window, increases health and armor, and then his size. That size increase is very important because it makes him generate more threat and kind of taunt everyone around him. 1 point into unnatural speed to have your golem accelerate all the minions around him, and then 4 points into hunger. Your golem hits restore health to you and itself. This effect restores additional health per 2 vitality. So that's where 3 more points go in. So good to stay alive the whole time. Now we need to boost our passives so that we can get Dread Shade. And here we're going to take, you have increased ward retention or granted ward whenever one of your minions die. As our zombies are just meant to die, that makes everything so much better. Now another 3 points into Cursed Blood, and then we're going to boot 1 into Blood Armor and 1 into Mortal Tether for the minion health increase, and 8 points into the Shred, so they can absolutely destroy everyone's armor. 2 more points into Mark of Punishment. Whenever one of your minions dies, it has a chance to mark the nearest enemy for death for 5 seconds, and Mark for Death is a curse that lasts for 8 seconds and reduces all resistances by 25%. Works incredibly well with your exploding zombies. Now we're going to increase my attack and cast speed and the minion attack and cast speed as well by tremendous values. We can give them critical strike chance, critical strike damage, critical strike everything. Boost the fire and necrotic damage. And yes, all my minions are essentially doing fire damage, so that fire damage boost is a mandatory must. And here we're going to be putting as many points in as you feel like. Then we can hire our elemental resistance and necrotic resistance, which is way too good to say no to. And that's where I usually put another 3, 4, 5 points in at least. And then lastly, 1 more to skeletal mages. Now that brings us around the level 60 mark before it goes even deeper into the end game. And that brings us to Dread Shade. And Dread Shade is quite interesting and your last specialization. Step 1. Dread Shade affects minions in a larger area. Then Dread Shade grants affected minions increased attack and cast speed. We're gonna make the area even bigger and the target's minions' health decays quickly. Oh, and then we're gonna attach it to an enemy. Yep. So essentially Dread Shade, instead of draining your own minions' health, it's gonna be going on the enemy, and the Dread Shade is gonna still buff all our minions in the area around. So everything just deals more damage as you Dread Shade the opponent. Now 1 point into, I'm affected by the beneficial buffs of Dread Shade's aura, which is interesting with Lingering Doom. Dread Shade drains your minions' health more slowly, and all affected minions deal additional necrotic damage. Now my minions are also dealing bonus necrotic damage, and you saw that we're boosting fire and necrotic damage in the passive tree. Last 7 points can be used to have your Dread Shade cost less mana, so we can do more zombies. Our last 4 points are going to be used for Flesh Harvest. Dread Shade grants increased effect of all its buff for each 3% of missing minion health, so just making it even more efficient. And we can increase the attack speed and the cast speed even further. Let me walk you through the gameplay loop, and keep in mind that my Volatile Zombies still cost a bit more because it's not the 1.0 release. We teleport with our skeletons. We do have our golem up, so that's already a good wall. And then we just summon our zombie, and he goes in and explodes. And what we can do with this is aggressive zoom in, zombie, explode. And then we go on. Double zombie, triple zombie, they all explode, they all die. Boom, teleport, zombie. Rip blood a little bit to restore. As you see, like we go up super fast, teleport again. And then in order to do more damage as you're facing elite opponents, something very big in your way, you're going to be also casting Dread Shade on the opponent. And that Dread Shade, essentially there it hovers, hires the damage of the exploding zombie straight away. So you're just doing way more damage per zombie explosion. And that against bosses is just so efficient. The triple stack is just teleport, shade, zombie, zombie, zombie. Then rip blood, and oh yeah, he just died. So it is that efficient, and it's that good, and that simple. For items, a few key things to look out for while leveling. That is 3 volatile zombies summoned on potion use. That's insane. Getting that, S tier. Also, increased minion damage, increased minion health helps, then increased minion physical damage and increased minion spell damage, plus minion critical strike chance does really well to have your zombies explode in these big banger hits. Everything that has +1 ring in volatile zombies needs to be taken as well. And then to be maximum efficient, mana regeneration and mana regeneration. Superb. Ladies and gentlemen, go out there and show them who the biggest zombie daddy is. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments below. And if you want to see the build in action, here's actually where I tried it out for the very first time before the 1.0 release.